Mask mandate over? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. This is just news that just broke, and that is that the federal judge has struck down the federal mask mandate for travel. One of the last remaining pieces of COVID government outreach, if you could, I don't know how you would say it. Basically all the things that the government has done to protect against COVID that are still in place. One of the major ones was this federal mask mandate. So with this gone, what's that mean? And what's that mean to business? I'm a business investor, so I like looking at really big picture ideas, concepts that affect business, and I like to talk about them here. So if you own a business or if you are an executive in charge of a business, this is a good place, and it's a good question to ask, is not whether the mask mandate is actually over, but how did you handle the politics of this situation? And is it actually possible for a business owner to ignore politics after this wave of regulations and protections, whatever else that came through that had such a direct impact on business? Now, sure, if you're in the tourist business, if you own a business that has anything to do with travel, this is going to affect you directly. But really, if you look at all of the different policies that were being put out by both state and government, and in some cases international, is there really a chance that you can ignore it? Is there really a chance that you can put your head in the sand? Just because this is over, does it mean there will never be anything else that will affect you? No, this was just one of the most drastic, most widespread impacting laws or quasi-laws or regulations that came into play in the past 20 years or longer, probably in the last 50 years as far as the United States is concerned. We haven't really seen anything that has had this dramatic an effect. When it comes to business, oftentimes the types of laws that affect us they don't affect everybody. And so you're talking about tax law or corporate tax law or regulations that are oftentimes very industry specific. When these things come out, not everyone cares. Not everyone's paying attention. If it affects your industry, yeah, you're paying attention. But otherwise, you're not. But in this case, we are starting to see more and more policies by government that affect everybody and really have an effect, a huge effect on the economy. You're seeing situations of inflation and other things that are occurring right now. A lot of this is due to the COVID regulations being lifted. A lot of it's due to monetary policy. A lot of it's due to international policy. All these, not one of these things can be said to be the one thing. They're all affecting it. So the question is, how close do you pay attention, though? Because you need to pay attention to some extent. You need to know how it affects you and how you're going to bob and weave to get around it. The best thing to do is to work as close as you can with what this current situation is and be ready for the situation to change and be willing to move, be willing to be flexible, be willing to change how you do business in order to keep things going. But getting obsessed over the politics of it has destroyed many businesses really this time around too. I mean, in the last now close to 2 to 3 years, we're looking at people who it changed their whole lives mentally and emotionally, and because of that, their business has failed. Not just because the regulations killed it, but because of their reaction to the regulations. So you really have to know yourself well and know what you need to pay attention to and what you don't. Maybe be friends with people who pay closer attention than you do, that you trust, that you could get their opinions of. Not that you take anything whole cloth, but be willing to listen to all sides and not get obsessed over it, but at the same time, don't turn it off completely. Realize that these things matter, that everything that comes out of an election, everything that comes out of all of these, a lot of the nonsensical stuff that we consider political, a lot of it becomes something very important. And hopefully we've all learned that, and we can move forward with that in mind. If you haven't already had it in mind, it's something to keep in mind, and it's something that to discuss with the people that you do business with, because we're all dependent on each other to some extent. And when it comes to business, there's an interdependency there. So hopefully this makes sense. It was just an idea based on this latest news. Don't get too high off the fact that things are getting better, because at the same time other things aren't getting better, and maybe sometimes you can find a way to be able to profit off of times, whether they're good or bad, depending on your perspective. Hopefully that's helpful. I've got a book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. The whole concept of the book is to help make you really durable and competition proof. But the real amazing thing about these ideas is they can make your business regulation proof also, if you really know how to take these and extend them out and follow some of the other resources that I go through in this book. Go check it out. You can purchase a copy, or you can and purchase it wherever you buy books, Amazon.com or what have you, or you can download a free copy if you want, AmazonProofBook.com. That's all I have for tonight. You have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow, but in the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.